Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about one of my favourite quotes, and this quote came from my dad actually, and my dad used to tell me this quote ever since young. I've always dealt with the problem of being impatient. Whenever I wanted something, or when I want something, I want to try and get it as soon as possible. It's just in my nature, and it's always been a problem I've tried to deal with because sometimes you can't get everything straight away. So the quote is, Rome wasn't built in one day, and it's a very profound quote, and I think about it all the time when it comes to business decisions, or if I'm ever feeling in a position where I'm not being as productive as I can be, or I'm not getting the results that I want. And I try to think of this quote because it helps me to stay on track with my progress, it helps me to stay on track with my business, and it helps me to stay on track with my body and my health as well. And I know I can't get all the results as soon as I want them straight away. So my dad, when he was young, they were very, very poor. They didn't have enough money to eat sometimes. They had a very simple life. But my dad left home and over the course of 40 years went on to build a business and an empire to a point where his net worth was worth over 100 million euros. So I always listen to his advice because he's pretty much my role model. I can't think of anyone in the world right now that can give me as much valuable and direct advice that he can when it comes to building a business, especially in the way that he did it as well. So when it comes to business decisions, I've always reached out to him and he's always told me about this quote. He always says it all the time. The way I deduce this quote, or I think about it, is that you need to build the foundations first, and you need to build strong foundations. This also ties into another quote that one of my mentors taught me, which was having an oak tree mindset. An oak tree mindset is basically, if you think about an acorn going into ground and slowly growing, those big strong roots growing into a large strong oak tree which then can't be moved because it's so big and strong. That's what I mean about building a good foundation. You need to build a strong foundation for your business or your personal growth, whatever, so that you don't get shaken out, so you don't collapse from beneath you whenever it comes to a difficult decision or something, or a setback. So you need to think like an oak tree when it comes to making decisions and building your foundations. Now, once you've got your strong foundations behind you, you can start to build upon these foundations, and with slow, calculated decisions, you can ensure that this foundation won't fall from below you. And it comes down to sometimes making rush decisions. So nobody wants to make rush decisions because one rush decision can lead to major setbacks. So I always try to think about the decisions that I'm making at length, and I try to make a calculated risk whether it's going to go well and if it's worth taking the risk, whether it comes to whatever that decision may be. But I try to make calculated risk, and I try to make them based upon the foundation that I've got below me. So if this decision went wrong, would I lose everything that I've got? If that's the case, then I need to make sure I make the right decision. Now, some of you may resonate with this, but I do struggle to be patient even nowadays. And if you are struggling to be patient, think about this quote, think about what you're building, thinking about the fact that you can't rush building an empire. And that's my goal personally. I'm not here to make just quick money, quick get rich schemes. I'm here to build an empire, a strong empire that I can rely on for many years to come, and for my children, my generations below me to be reliant upon. So if you're thinking about long-term growth, that's how you need to think. You need to think in big, strong empire mindset. And that comes down to, if you try to run before you can walk, that can also be an issue. Make sure you've got everything in place before you try to expand, before you try to scale. There's nothing worse than trying to take on lots of business and then you're not able to support that growth. And here's one that's important as well, is you need to realize that the journey is the goal. The journey is the enjoyment. Flashback to probably 10-15 years ago, I used to play World of Warcraft a lot, and there's a point later on down the line in the game where you could effectively pay to go to max level. So normally it'd be like level 0, you start out at level 1, and end game would be level 60 or level 100, whatever it is. And I thoroughly enjoyed, as did most people, the process of going from level 1 to 100, whatever it would be. And then there was the choice of being able to go directly to max level by paying. And I did that a couple of times. And what I realised is that there was no enjoyment at the end level. The full actual enjoyment, the fulfillment, was from the experience of going from 1 to max level, going through those hardships, dying, losing your gear, restarting, going through the difficult dungeons at the start. It's the same thing in life. I think a lot of people don't realise this, but I think a lot of people who are rich, who are born rich, they don't have any fulfillment in their lives because they've got no drive, they've got nothing to work for because of everything given to them. The true enjoyment and fulfillment comes from being nothing and grinding your way through your life to becoming successful, because then you know what it's worth. I see a lot of friends that have had a lot of money given to them. They've got a lot of things, had an easy life, and you can see the fulfillment is not there like it is for somebody like myself who's built something from nothing. And I think that's a really important lesson to think about. Don't seek out the easy option, seek out the option that is difficult, because it's the journey that's valuable. That's what you're going to look back on when you're older and think, yeah, I've done something for myself. I've built something that's very important, and I've done it all by myself as well. That's just like, for me, that's where the value is. That's where where the fulfillment comes from. I wouldn't want to have everything handed to me on a plate, because then you don't get the sense of fulfillment from that journey of actually getting there. So that was just a quick video. I hope it was helpful. Again, my favourite quote: Rome wasn't built in one day, and I'll continue to think of that for many years to come as I build many different businesses and eventually build my own empire. Thanks for watching, guys.